share, tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. By the time I come back on Thursday, our Juneteenth sign will be put away. Like, comment, share. Subscribe. Get your chair. Get your mats. Line up if you walking wall to wall. Get your weights. Get your weights if you lift the weights. Jump on your bike. I took the speaker upstairs because I wanted to listen to music. And this is like a boom box down here. So I bought my little speaker down here. And it won't connect. So that's why you hear that. But you still get your fingers snapping out of here. I guess I should be on beat, right? Ha ha ha! Yes! Yes! Thanks for coming on a walk. Let's get ready so we can talk about the 4th of July. The 4th of Matrix. I know. I knew. I only saw 15 minutes of it. But once I read about the Matrix, I knew someone of African origin would have to have written that. I say African American because, anyway, yeah. Well, I'm turning this down some. Lions from Liarville, honey. Look it. Now I wrote down these notes because I know y'all don't believe nothing unless I sat in like a white person's class, preferably a Central European, because y'all already say they're smarter than anything on earth, though children have surpassed Einstein IQ. Uh-oh. Just want to put it out there. Ooh, African American children. Uh-oh. Just want to put it out there. Has surpassed his IQ from homeschooling. Okay. So let's put that to the side and move on. So all my research and everything, it was always done for a project. Always. Like when I did my AIDS play. I had to dig down deep, finding Dennis Hopper's book. I think something with the Nile, but it showed from that first airline stewardess that got the virus, and he traced it through, and I read all of it because I was doing a play on AIDS education and awareness. He put the myth that it was Haitians and Africans that was carrying the AIDS virus when it wasn't. Dennis Harper tracked it all the way to the polio vaccination. And it's testing in Rwanda. Who, y'all? So that's how I come across my information. Now people say, and of course I had the AIDS information, but it was strictly, the ones I was getting was in the Matrix. It was saying, it's the Haitian, it's the, they take no responsibility because they've labeled dark skin inmate criminals. Okay, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Okay. So, that's how I find out my information. Which brings me to that Carter Woodson saying, so as a man taught, so shall he think. You going back to the example of AIDS. I was doing a play. I was hiring counselors. I was seeking funding. I had to know about the AIDS virus, the medication, and all the myths, because I had to get rid of all the myths. How you can't get it. Anyway, so that's how I can talk about AIDS. No, I didn't sit down in class. I know if a black person is not sitting in front of a white teacher, being told what to do, then they're not educated. So that's what I'm saying. Take it with a grain of salt. So I wrote a play, a teen violence deterrent, and I had to go look up the stats, teen violence, gang violence, what all the Matrix people say about it, and its origins, and etc., in order to be able to talk about it and to support the play, etc. I just want to give y'all where I'm coming from. I know y'all want me to say, I was under Professor, Dr. Master, blah, 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 and the blah, blah, blah. And then y'all say, oh, okay, now I believe you. If you hadn't mentioned his name, I'd never believe you. You just start out not believing me. I ain't got no problem with it. I'm putting this on the ethers. Anyway. I wrote a concept for a theme park called Africans in America Theme Park. No, probably never heard of it. And probably won't. But I'm telling you this because I had to do the research for it. I had to go into the bowels of the Schomburg many, too many times, literally crying on the train ride home. I mean, just so much, just sucking in so much information. This brain was a sponge sucking it in. And then they would cross-reference me too, and then I'd have to go to the Fifth Avenue main library in Manhattan, and I had to put in these requests, and these chutes would suck stuff up and down there, suck it down to the basement, and then suck it back up to me, and someone would give it to me behind the desk, and then I had to take it and go a lot. But I was looking for the information for the theme park. I was getting a lot of information, but I deemed it not important if it didn't help me for the theme park. I wanted to know the tribes of the African continent that was put into what they call now the slave trade bullshit. I wanted to know about them. I wanted to know about transportation. I looked at those pictures of our ancestors on those boats, and someone kept saying, no, Vicki, that's not how you would do slaves that you're bringing to work the land. That's how you do prisoners. And then I said, no, if I talk about it out loud, especially educators said, no, you stupid. You don't know. That's how they used to transport the slaves. I was like, but they was bringing slaves to work the land. They brought cattle too. Was all the cattle chained down? And then the ancestors said, no, only the dangerous ones. Okay, so let's go on. I didn't catch it then. Shook it off. So then I wanted to go into different African cultures, countries, to look at their culture, their economics, and why aren't they able to get their products in the United States. At that time, the Hatfield and McCoy Clinton had basically shut down products like fruit products, stuff like that, from Jamaica and other African countries. They went with South America and Chiquita. That's why all this bullshit with DeSantis blows my freaking mind. These South American countries ain't the only ones with bananas. But they wouldn't let any, just like with Haiti, they will not let any business come back and forth for them to do it independently. Now they got the corporate and stuff like that. But okay, I only got a half hour. So, I said, oh, let's see through Africans in America theme park if we can find some kind of way to get products from what I know now to be penal colonies. But at that time I was in the Matrix, and the Matrix said they were colonies. Or sovereign countries. Well, that Matrix is thick. Thick. So I said, that's what I would use the import part for, as a point of import. So I had to do all the research for that. Then customs, African customs, Oh, so much, so many books. So many, books. But I only kept what I needed, I thought. I only retained in my brain what I needed. I thought that all that other stuff I read, that I said, oh wow, get out of here. But no. I just need the information for the theme park. Now give me some else. What? No, get out of here. No. I can't put that in. I'm just looking for stuff for the theme park. Then they started, about that time, when you look at it, it's like, I don't know, like a synchronicity. At the same time I'm writing the book, they is discovering the remains in New York City of a graveyard of the enslaved. Now we know it was the imprisoned. And they was just trying to do like they did the whole graveyard, the whole New York City place. So, the foundation of the buildings, I tell you, everything in America was our bones. Ground our bones into the cement because they didn't want to do a archaeological dig. But someone was there and saw it. And at the time, Mayor Deakins was the mayor of New York. So you see it all connected together. But I'm in Connecticut and I'm writing, being parking, get the vibe. And I said, you know what? We got to have enough land that if African American theme park can go around and dig up those graveyards, put them in the park, give them the nice headstone, give them the history that they deserve. And in New York, so that's when I went researching. So you see, it wasn't that I was sitting in the class and the teacher says, here's your incubus or syllabus, and you do this and you bring this here and you get an A, or you get, that wasn't how I learned. I am the meaning of Carter Whitson's saying, so is a man taught, so shall he think. I didn't have a professor saying you got 3 weeks to find out where those graves are and what's going on. I didn't have that. I needed to find out where they were for Africans and American theme park. When they started vibing with me for the African burial ground, And I had to dig into the research about where these people came from and how did they get here and how are they killed, what is going on. Then I found all the stuff. But again, I said, I just want to focus on the New York City and the graveyard, and I just tried to throw off all the other stuff. Because it wasn't what I was looking for. I needed information on the New York City enslaved people who were dug up. So you see, that's how my learning went. All of it went in, but I just picked out what I needed. So we're going to take a little water break. I'm sweating, y'all, but that's what I come here for. It ain't like I'm going to be running up and down the stairs and all kind of stuff like that. I got to make this body think it is in high gear, even when it ain't. Yes, oh, I said, hee. That's an old lady's laugh. I made it to old ladyhood. Whew. I'm going to put on the other song for y'all. Y'all probably forgot that. Let's get some water. Now, I got to let y'all know, I got to remind y'all that I won't be walking tomorrow. I won't be walking Wednesday. I will be back to walking on Friday. Y'all remember this oldie? Oh, they still slapping commercials on it. Hey, y'all. This water is a little too cold, so I'm just going to take a little tiny sip. Y'all remember this oldie but goodie? I said I'm walking, y'all, trying to stay. No run. Yeah. If I stop walking, y'all hear that? They ain't gonna trip me up. Yeah. Come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. Yeah, I said come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. 'Cause if I stop walking, y'all, they'll cut me up until I'm just a nose. Yeah, come walk with me and save your toes and feet. Yeah, I said come walk with me. Save your toes and feet. 'Cause when you walk with me, you can eat the food you want to eat. I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. I said I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. 'Cause if I stop walking, y'all, they'll cut me up until I'm just a nose. Okay, so now y'all got my educational background. Oh, also, just out of curiosity, I did that whole, it's at the library, I can't think of the series, but it's a bunch of professors, and you listen to their lectures. And that's, besides all reading, I was really into the Romans and stuff, but I found that to be another matrix. Anyway, so, you lied, lying liars from Liarville. I started to wonder if, oh no, America said they threw out the king. Now by then I already knew that we were prisoners brought here, not a bunch of folks sitting around doing nothing. We were prisoners. The African countries were already up in Europe because they're only a boat ride away. And remember, Europe is an island and all those things around there. I think the only solid thing is like Ireland and Scotland. I think they're land messes. But everybody else is Ireland. Ireland. And they was over there. The Ethiopians, that's how, up there messing around in Central Europe. That's how the Hebrew got over there. Then you had the Moors and stuff messing around in England and Spain. Excuse my French, fucking up around there with the French. Different tribes, different nations. It was a short ride away. So, as in all wars, the people on the top don't always stay on the top. Governments get toppled and overthrown. So when the Moors and other African nations started losing in their control, and Europe wanted its own, wanted out. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. So, when the African nations started losing their fight in Europe, what Europe did notice was that they would always go back to Africa, get reinforcements, come back over, and it was hundreds of years, so they knew how the process worked. So, when the next fight came up, they started, because of the Moors and other African nations, that's the matrix. They knew the new world another matrix, the new world, they knew about this landmass a long time ago. So, when the Moors started losing, they said, okay, we're going to send y'all to those land masses. And that's what they started doing. All the countries. That's what France, Louisiana, Haiti, and probably a few more that I don't know of. Penal colonies. They got them out of there. England, who had a lot. This landmass. Jamaica, Barbados, Antigua, but Antigua was Spanish too. Dominican Republic, Spaniards. Haiti, French. So as the European countries started gaining ground, they started shipping them away. They said, no, they can't go back to Africa because they've been coming back and forth from Africa, fucking us up. Let's stop that. So when they would get their prisoners of war, they would send them to, aka this penal colony and many more that I've named. They call it diaspora. They call it colonization. It was imprisonment. They had to stop the Africa's chain. War buffs know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, how far is, just a little segue, how far are those people who were accused of blowing up the World Trade Center? They in Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay is far away from wherever the hell they came from in Central Africa. So, or thereabouts. What I'm saying is that's a penal colony, Guantanamo Bay. It's a penal colony, an extension of a penal colony. This is a penal colony, and the Guantanamo Bay is our extension. And that's where the international prisoners go who attack America. Don't you get it? So, okay, if you don't get it, I'm going to give you another clue. So, they sent them all over here. And as Europeans in Spain do, they always fought. So everybody started fighting. Nobody had enough ground hold other than the English. So that's why Louisiana is under this penal colony and not under the French. But I still think they get money out of it, the French. Florida, I know Spain is still getting Florida money. And probably Texas too is getting Florida money. And like that. And I still feel that the Dutch is getting money from the New Englands because they brought their prisoners of war here. Whatever that Dutch king was at the time, that's where he sent our African ancestors to New Amsterdam. Anyway, so I'm saying to myself, for years I've been saying, because I had to learn this all myself. They didn't teach. Remember I told you I went to school in New York City. And when I used to say, they said, oh, the Irish come from here. Oh, the Polish come from here. And the Russians come from here. And I would say, oh, where did Africa come from? And they said, get out your books. We're going to do science. So I never knew. It wasn't to the Black Power movement in New York that they said Africa. And I was like, we're African? All I ever heard my mother say is we ain't slaves no more. That's all she would say. Anyway, so I said, why weren't the enslaved people free? When these Hatfields and McCoys kicked out the king. Didn't the king at that time it said, bring them there for slavery, bring the Africans here for slavery? But I knew. Didn't the king enslave and imprison his prisoners of war, the Africans that were fighting over in Europe? Didn't he take them and dump them there and dump their generations there and kept, that was us. So when you said you kicked the king out, then why didn't you free the enslaved, the imprisoned? Why didn't America free it? They was free. We were enemies of the king. America said they ain't like none of the kings. We were enemies of all of the kings. So ain't the enemy of your enemy your friend? So I said to you, why didn't they free us? Why did they say, oh, come on, y'all all free. We're going to keep kicking Britain's ass. We're going to go over there and get King Louis and Dutch King. They didn't say that. They kept us enslaved. I didn't understand that. So then I did a lot of studying of Lincoln. My favorite book is Lincoln on Management. And then mentioned that his greatest fear was that the crown was helping the South. The crown was still getting the cotton money, all that stuff. Ergo, wasn't no king kicked out. This penal colony was turned over to wardens. Turned over to wardens. And that's why we remained enslaved. The king just took all his governors and all his Englishmen out and said, here, you yahoos handle it. Just make sure these African descendants get treated like the inmate prisoners that they are because they attacked the crown for the next 600 to 1,000 years. And I'm the 30th generation penal colony on the orders of a king. So no, you lying liars from Liarville, you ain't never left the king. That's why this penal colony is a stronghold. That's why anytime we go out, y'all finna go to Ukraine and die. Whoo! Wouldn't be my child. Yeah. So that's what it is. That's what the lie is. England is still here. That's why the crown is so important. It has penal colonies it runs. And this is one of them. Everybody says, oh, Haiti. Haiti's never going to be done. Haiti is exactly the way the French crown wants Haiti to be. It's still sucking out all the funds and leaving nothing for the people. The people's advantages is that they just not enslaved. They just living on a penal colony. That's it. The Dominican Republic, oh, they free. We have, still connected to Spain. Still getting that money. Folks over there living good. Okay? I know Spain is getting this far from Mexico because Mexico said they're Castilla. They're Castilla. I think, truth be told, you need to start getting some of these planes if you really want to handle the South Americans who were colonized. They weren't enslaved. They wasn't brought to South America. They was already there. The Spain came over and colonized them. I say if y'all governors, see, I know they wouldn't. Because really, if y'all wanted to do it right, these Mexicans and stuff that came over here, y'all put them on the plane and send them to Spain. They speak Castile. It's a Spain. Y'all dropping them in the wrong place. These Haitians that y'all sit there, drop them in France. Drop their asses in France. That's France mess. Hey, the African that you want to get rid of here, drop them in England. England don't want to take no responsibility for its trash, but it's still sucking the money out of Africa because it has to. They do not want us to get anywhere near where our ancestors were 600 years ago. They don't want it. They do not want it. So, that also goes for our reparation. The king will never do that. Never. Never give us financial strength. And the wardens on this penal colony are instructed to make sure it never happens. Laws that put us down or oppress us will always be put in place because it has to stay like that. We will never go back to the fierce warrior rulers of our ancestors. We just puppies now. No, we just getting beat up in the prison yard. Getting shot in the head by the patty rollers. But now I understand it. It's a penal colony. Our ancestors were its original prisoners, aka I'm a descendant, I'm labeled a prisoner, but I never broke a law in my life. So that's why I say the 4th of July lying liars, because if it was true, our ancestors would have been free when the Matrix kicked the king out. Like, comment, share. So that's why I said, okay, that's why I said lying, lying, lying. King's still all in it. That's why all your money can go over there to fight Ukraine. Whenever there's a fight in Europe, if it gets too close to the crown, he gets his strong arm, which is this penal colony, aka America USA, and they instantly run in, protect, drop bombs on people, anything to make sure the crown is safe. So that's why I'm saying that's why we're connected. The lie is ain't no independence. This is a penal colony. The people that you call elected officials, president, blah blah blah. No, they are wardens. Wardens. And that's all it. That's why they put out the oppressive laws. That's why they do all the redistricting and stuff like that. That's the way it's supposed to be for the ancestors of the enemy of the European nations from 600 years ago. And they still scared that we're going to get together and rise up. They don't know I'm the 30th generation of this crap. I am so nonviolent. I go to the doctors, they slap me and tell me to have a seat. Okay, like, comment, share, tell uncle, tell auntie, tell cousins, tell a friend, and I'll see you on Thursday. Take care. Thanks for your support.